Well, we're getting ready for the next season of the 18th century cooking, and we're going to take a little break from cooking for a couple of weeks. And this week, we're doing another painting study. And I've got Kevin here, and we're going to dig into this recent painting we did on sifting the past.
We're looking at someone else doing the cooking.
Right. We're looking at another kitchen here, and we can kind of glean some of that historical cooking right out of this painting. And let's see, this painting is called The Pancake Cook, and it's by Adrian Delay. And I believe it's very late 1780s, like 1789 or something close to that. And he's a Dutch painter. It's a genre painting for that time period. So it's not like it's trying to tell a story, and it's a little bit more domestic. And so this is a pretty fun painting, and you can kind of get some emotion out of this. So let's look at the composition on this particularly. You're the artist in the composition thing. What do you see here composition-wise?
Well, there are a lot of pointers and angles. Start with the handle of the fry pan. It leads us into the center of the photo. The rag and this box, teetote maybe, leads us either up or down. I mean, the mantle leads us right to this painting, as does the lintel on the door. Right. That painting takes such a central
central place,
place in this, and even the placement of the onions. So from all of these corners, our attention is being drawn into the center of this painting, and maybe it's this three-way composition between the elderly lady, the young lady, and the painting that gives us kind of a sense of balance to this.
Right, and we got some nice depth and some very some deep perspective lines here that pushes us into the depth of depth of this room, and then we have this area beyond with the open door and the person beyond it. So we have some nice depth, and even the window beyond that and the outside we can see just a little bit of. So we have some very nice depth. And I'm really totally, if we look at the very top of the painting, I'm totally confused why the artist would put the hook in this painting. What is that hook doing there?
Unless it's purely a compositional tool, but
just to fill in some
detail, or to point our attention, down? Break up the strong vertical line of the beam, it is such a massive hook. I don't know. I have no idea what that's for, honestly. Maybe some viewers would have a suggestion as to what that's for.
We've got a bird.
The ubiquitous bird in a cage.
And the bird in the cage. We've got to have that in every one of these paintings. We can see on top of this sort of mantle over the fireplace, we've got plates, probably exactly the same plates as we see further down in the basket. And we have a jug there with a pewter lid. As we move down, we have a curtain over the top of the door.
Yes, I'm very interested in the curtain. Probably to partition this room off from the rest of the house to keep smoke out. Although there's a door.
Yeah,
too.
There's a door. So why would we need both the curtain and the door? Right over the woman's head, and right beside this box, we have what looks on first glance to be a brass frying pan, but it's not.
Yeah, that's actually a chamber stick, a form of candle holder. You can see the shadow to the left of this dark spot in the center, and then the shadow to the left. That's actually the
socket for the candle.
Right. And this is very similar to some examples that I've seen online, 18th century chamber sticks. In fact, there's an interesting website. We'll have Aaron put the link below. A website that is dedicated strictly to chamber sticks.
We've got a very nice set of bellows there, and at the very extreme top here we can see the mantle, very nicely made mantelpiece, that curtain that you see very, very often to kind of catch that smoke and to keep that going up. Let's move back to the other side, and we've got our guy that's hanging out in the back. It looks like he's got trousers. He's got a hat that's typical of that late 18th century, and he's got a jacket. Kevin thought that it was a brother. It was the brother to the girl here.
That's my thought. I think there's something going on here between the young lady and the elderly lady, the pancake cook. From her stance, it seems like there's trouble brewing here, that she has waited long enough for her pancakes. And I wonder if this young man back here is kind of waiting to see...
Maybe he egged her on to go see if the pancakes were done.
Right.
But my first guess is that he's another servant, and he's like, "Woohoo! Something's going to happen. There's going to be an explosion. I can't wait." Peek around the door.
One thing that we can tell is the season of this painting. Everyone is wearing layers.
Right.
It's apparently cold in the room. The elderly lady has her shoe off, and her foot on a foot warmer, even though she's sitting right next to the fire.
Right. And I love the old lady's expression. She's looking out of the corner of her eye, like, what do you want? She doesn't look upset yet. And then we move over, and we've got the old guy behind her shoulder, and he looks like he's busy lighting his pipe.
He's staying out of this.
Right. I was like, I'm staying out of this. I'm just busy. Maybe if I keep my head down, I won't get into trouble. The neat thing is he's got a nicely battered hat. It's a kind of a tricorn with maybe one of the edges flopped down, or it's on backwards, or it's a pretty rough looking hat. He's got on a jacket with that kind of split cuff there, very common for a kind of a servant's jacket, and he's using one of those ember bowls as a fire lighter. He's got his pipe upside down, and he's trying to light his pipe.
By the way, we sell these ember bowls online. We can put a link down below. But he's showing proper etiquette as to how to light your pipe using an ember bowl.
On top of the table, we have looks like a pewter pitcher, possibly a silver pitcher.
Right.
We got some the artist put in reflections saying, look, I'm this good. Onions on the table.
Also, too, we talked about the season.
Right.
We have apples and onions.
Apples and onions.
Which the apples would have been one of the few fruits that would have been available in the colder seasons, just simply because they
last a long time.
They last long, yeah.
Right, and we've got a nice tall basket, and then on top of the tall basket, we've got something very similar to what we sell as the potato basket.
Right.
We've got you just see those all the time, the foot warmers. So it's got an ember bowl, just like the one he's holding probably, but it's inside that box. You can even see the glow of the coals. I thought the pot that she had the batter in was really not what I would have expected.
I've seen some other illustrations that actually of pancake cooks, and I remember very surprised by the size of the pot.
Right, like, boy, they're going to be making pancakes a long time.
Right.
We've got a nice little fire going, and that's one of the things I thought about this picture. The design of this hearth, with the chimney way up there. I mean, where the hood of the chimney on this thing is 5-6 feet in the air.
Right.
I can imagine that this room would fill with smoke very easily. It's going to be hard to get enough heat out of that fire down there to keep that smoke, that draft to go right up in that chimney. And that brings us at final to the pan. And this is a socketed frying pan. What does that look? 8 or 9 inches in diameter, 10 inches in diameter?
Right, probably 10 inches in diameter, fixed handle.
Right, a fixed handle with a nice long wooden handle that goes into a socket, a lot like the folding frying pans that we have with the socketed handle. So that kind of covers this painting. I think it's a really nice painting, gives us a lot of wonderful detail. You can see life going on in a painting like that, which is a fun thing to see. So many of the paintings from the 18th century are just straight portraits, but this really gives you some nice daily life look to it. if you've got any particular comments on this painting, and it's got some wonderful things to talk about, make sure to give your comments down in the comment section. If you want more paintings like this, make sure to check out our 18th century painting blog or image blog called siftingthepast.com. This painting is here, many others. You can comment on those there. There's a great video on pancakes, and there's even a series of pancake paintings on Sifting the Past. So there's a lot of interesting pancake stuff. We'll make sure to put some links below. And I really want to thank you for putting up with us today. Thanks for watching. If you're new to our channel, I want to welcome you. You can subscribe by clicking the button right up here. Also check out our related videos. Thanks so much for watching.